Hey, Christian. Sorry. How's it going?
Hey, it's fine, it's fine. I was like looking for you guys you guys were not online like earlier, so I was like, which one is Nick? Because there's like three of them.
Oh, really?
So let me click this one and then yeah.
Yeah, see, my wife made it today, and I was like, oh yeah, I
Ah,
really know how to. We haven't used it in years, so yeah.
yeah. Well, for some reason it's easier to use Skype because to add it I can do like a 4K or like 1080. It depends like like which platform that I'm gonna use. Other than that, it's much easier than like like a phone call or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're Nick and then you're
Justin.
Justin, yeah?
Nick Justin.
Okay.
Yep. I guess you
How's
really
that? Huh?
right?
I always confused like because when the last time we met, do you remember? I think it's like 14 or something like that, right?
Last show we went to California.
Pomona.
Yeah,
Yeah, Pomona, right?
in like 2000.
Yeah.
It might have been 15.
Yeah, yeah.
2015.
15, 14 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you guys been? Everything good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's been good. We
Yeah?
a few years slow. We decided to like just sort of hang back and enjoy the snakes for snakes, and we were a producer out here for a while, and that isn't fun at all. So we sold that.
Right.
Got rid of our rat production, but yeah,
Oh.
sort of, yeah, took a few years to be like, yeah, we want to enjoy the snakes again instead of it had to pay the bills.
Well, you guys used to do snakes for like full timers, right? So you no longer do it as a full time, just like a hobby right now, or still the same?
8 years ago we stopped doing it a little. No, we would have stopped doing it. Like we stopped probably 2014 was the last year we stopped doing it as like a living.
6 years ago.
And we do construction. We own a remodel window installation company, so
Okay.
we're pretty busy with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys like did disappear for like a couple of years. I never seen you guys.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah. We stopped posting, and yeah, it just needed to.
It's like gone.
We just needed to take time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still remember I asked like few like other breeders like where is this well, I call you guys Sloan brothers.
Yeah.
So it's
Most
like
people-
where are these guys, right? Yeah.
Most
So you
people-
guys I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right. Most people just didn't know where we'd gone. I mean, we just sort of we were there. If people came and like contacted us, we still responded and stuff like that. But we just took a step back from the light of everything, and we produce stuff on our own, and we would sell it to the stores locally. Like if we had anything to sell, but we wanted to be able to produce for ourselves. We wanted to keep the things and enjoy them instead of hey, this has to sell and that has to happen. So that's how we do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's great because so right now that ball python stuff is just kind of like hobby then, right? For like the better word, right? Kind of like hobby on the side, side
that
hobby.
pays for itself, yeah, hobby that pays for itself, and hopefully can pay to have new projects, but not to pay rent or mortgage.
Yeah. What project are you guys working on right now?
There's a few. Puzzle's one of the bigger ones that we have.
Okay.
We've had that one for a while, and it's sort of cool to see like what has been getting produced. I think Will Morrow's just posted that Pastel Desert Ghost puzzle today.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, so working some puzzle. Lavender's one of our bigger ones that we work with. Trying to get that at like the multiple recessive projects. Then we actually have a few
Right.
genes that we're trying to figure out before we fully release them. But yeah, so working with those too.
Yeah. Well, puzzle lavenders has never been done before, so if you guys can make that one, you guys will be the first one ever, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a few crazy lavender
Yeah.
projects hopefully this year. I'd like super orange dream lavenders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys working on with like anti stuff too?
Yeah. We got some Enchi
Yeah.
Tide stuff. We've
Mhm.
got a ton of orange dream Enchi stuff. A
Mhm.
few different projects that have Enchi in it. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, because if you guys working on with like super anti laugh combos,
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
need that one from you guys.
We'll let you know. We've got a few from Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, Lavender to some etchy stuff. So we'll have a few.
Yeah. Let me know on that one. So, do you guys still working on that? What is the name of the project that you guys were working on? Alloy or something like that, right?
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys still have it or no?
That's one of our bigger projects this year. Trying to like see,
yeah?
kind of like seeing its gene without other things is our main project this year. Like superform and trying not to put things until we kind of separate it and figure out like what it does on its own. So
Right.
We have a lot of huge combos with
Yeah.
it, like super alloy, super yellow, super pastel. So it's like see what it exactly looks like on its own.
Yeah. Trying to pull it back
Right.
a little bit. Too many things.
Right. So there's a super alloy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We haven't made this by itself, but we've made the super in other combos, which has been kind of hard to figure out what exactly it looks like itself. So that's kind of
Right.
we probably have like 10 or 15 clutches of just alloy stuff.
Oh
this
wow.
year. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, yeah, yeah. Because I still remember when you guys, kind of like still figure out like how the gene works. Because I asked you guys like bunch of question about yeah, that'd be great. You guys don't have any picture for the super alloy, right? Do you?
The super on its own, no. We had one animal we thought might be the super like on its own, but as it's grown, we're pretty positive that's not it, just because of the way that it's with everything else. So the one that we currently is a female that ovulated this year. It's a super alloy, super pastel yellow belly.
Oh wow.
We're hoping we get the super alloy. Well, clearly it'll have pastel in it, but hopefully we can get it out there without everything else.
Yeah.
It popped up from a female that was a captive hatch pastel, like in 2004, and we were producing a ton of babies from her, and all of them were super. There were always these lighter ones of each project, and we eventually went, okay, something else going on here, and we made a male back to the mom, and we made the super pastel, super alloy yellow belly, and we're like, oh, okay, this is definitely something different. So that's why it's sort of
right. Yeah, this is probably one of the main reason I tend to shy away from pastel, because not that I hate pastel. It's not that, but because some people kind of like misunderstood about it. Well, I do technically, but yeah, because it's really hard when you trying to figure out things out, right? Especially if you're working on with like this import or things like that. It's really hard when there's pastel in the mix, because you cannot tell, kind of like the details or like what the gene can, offers, right? So, so originally it came from your pastel female. Where did you get the pastel from? Do you know? Do you remember?
Ben Siegel? It might have been from Ben Siegel in 2004
or 5, like that.
Yeah, she was an adult captive hatched pastel. She just I can't remember exactly how we wound up with her, but back then we don't have records from 04, but
right. Yeah, well, it's been a while, so yes, it's really hard to kind of like trace like everything, right? So well, if you got it from Ben Siegel, then he probably got it from Greg, right? Greg Graciani, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
He was importing
Could
stuff from
Oh,
Africa back then. I think when we got that specific animal, so I think she came directly from Africa at that point.
Obviously it probably came from one of the big importers, and he went and picked it all up. But yeah, it's been a while. I couldn't tell you where.
Yeah.
If I wanted to.
Yeah, it's fine. So based on what you've seen so far, right? How does the gene work?
It's a lightener. So we've seen it in an alloy in its single form, and it's it's just oranger. It's not like anything crazy on its own if you have just the single gene alloy, but it definitely has orange. It blushing. I think it really darkens the black and lightens the yellows. So when we have like a super pastel, super alloy, the blacks are super dark, but then the blushing pastel makes it so there's just an intense amount of blushing and stuff like that. So we've seen a lot of that. It brightens. Our pastel alloys are the colors of the pastel stay bright. They don't brown out. They sort of stay that yellow in color as they get older. So it definitely keeps it more at that. It's sort of it's a less intense orange dream, I would say. Almost.
Yeah, it's almost just like an enhancer. Kind of brightens up whatever.
Okay.
It does, so.
Okay. Are you guys familiar with this gene called yellow gene from Team Bailey?
I've seen Tim post it a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking at your page like last week or something like that, and then I can be wrong because I'm not working with Aloy at all. I do not know like how it works, but I kind of like figured out if it's similar. It could be, I do not know. Like yellow gene, I can be wrong, but because the combo that you guys produce, well, I never seen the super alloy and then super pastel, but yeah, it kind of like similar. I can be wrong, but yeah.
What else Tim put it in? I've seen him. I think I've seen some Mojave yellow genes that he's posted.
Yeah, it came from the original Mojave. Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
Do you have some of his yellow gene?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, what else has it been paired with so far? Because if it's the same thing, we're definitely all for. We see all these different projects get called the same exact thing, and it's like it's different things, like 7 different names for the same mutation, and we're on the board of like, if someone else has it, like we'll just call it the same thing. We're not.
Yeah. It's good that you brought out that topic. I want to ask you guys like what you guys perspective when it comes to like the same gene but with different names.
I understand it because we all want it to be our own thing a little bit.
Of course.
I think it's like all of us, every single ball python breeder, you have the new ones too. Like, is this a new gene? Is this a new gene? Like,
right.
I think if you narrow it down and you find out like, no, this is 100% the same thing. Like, it needs to just be called that. Like hypo, we have yellow ghost, orange ghost. We call it
right.
We call it hypo in our collection because it's like what it does. That's the scientific thing that happens with it. Hypomelanism. It's what it is, and so that's why we're going to call it hypo. It sounds a little, we're sort of owning it as our own, but it's not that. We're not owning it as our own. We're just like, it's easier this way. And
it boils down to like, for example, like of a pied. If you have your own line of pied, you're not going to name it something else. We've actually had like 2 or 3 own lines of pied that we've just randomly found. So it's like we won't change the name, which obviously kind of just goes the same with other genes.
Right.
Keep it the same. So.
Yeah, I mean, like me personally, I mean, for us, we understand what's going on, right? Because we've been in this hobby for a long time, pretty much. But I just feel sorry for those new peoples, the one that love to argue because whatever they have, they think it's the best one, right? So there's like so many drama just because of the same freaking thing, So I mean, just like what you said. I mean, we completely understand, like, yeah, sure, you want to make your name or, you want to be, something that, kind of cool, right? You found these new things or whatever like that, which is fine. And then the other things that not many people understand also is that when you so-called import the animals, right? Sometimes it came from the same person, but, they distributed through, let's say, like 3 different, breeders, right? And then each breeder is going to call it a different thing, like A, B, C or something like that, right? And then if you get it from C, then obviously you're going to call it, like C name. And then if you get it from, A breeders, then you call it A breeders, right? Even though they're the same freaking thing. So it's kind of like gray area to figure out. But, if we know, we know. We just don't want to argue about like which one which or things like that,
Exactly. Well, and I think it's like candy perfect example. Like, I think if it's a different line, like, sure, like, just like TSK and BPI Xanthics, you can't breed them together. If that had been the case, like, let's call them different things, but at this point, it's like they're bred together so much now that no one knows the difference between a candy and toffee now. What are they calling a candy toffee mix?
Right. Yeah. I mean, for the Xanthic, there's a different scenario, right? Because obviously they are compatible. So, it's kind of like, makes sense when you call it, like TSK, whatever, and then, like VPI line or things like that. That's the true definition of a different line.
Yeah.
So don't call it like your name or something.
Like, I would be like, let's go towards more like that. Like, I think there's a couple different lines of Phantom but then you have Mystic,
Yeah.
which is different. I mean, and since it's been bred exclusively differently, it has a little bit of subtle differences to it, but I think Mystic and Phantom are pretty much the same thing as well, but it could be McCain line Phantom. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this, but people gonna like rail me like tomorrow probably. But so, well, one thing that I figured out, I mean, not just me. I mean, you probably know like like what's going on too. So let's say if I get that alloy project from you, right? So what happened is like let's say like a year from now, I can call it something else, and then I can kind of like make up this like Disneyland like fairy tale story, right? Like, hey, I just got this like new thing, even though I know I got it from you guys. I just call it something else, like orange gene or something like that, So that's kind of like not a good way to approach this, this scenario, but it happens so many times. But it is what it is. Sometimes there's nothing we can do about it. So.
no, and that's I mean that's like Justin was saying earlier. We've hatched out this third pied this year that we hatched out, which was from a completely unrelated like line of pieds, and we just they're just pieds. They're just pieds. Like it doesn't matter that it happened in our facility and stuff like that. And like if our alloy project is like Tim's, or if our Mercury project is like something else that's out there, well, it's gonna switch names and it's gonna just be whatever's existing already. So more towards that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, before I forget, let's talk about your that the Mercury project.
Yeah, it's cool. We've had bad luck getting it taking off. We've had a few females, and they haven't given us the biggest clutches in the past. And this year, I think will be a good ratio of females to males. I think we have 7 females that are ready to go, and 4 males from the project.
Yeah. That was also one of the projects that the pied randomly popped up in as well. So
it's gonna be a little bit harder now because we hatched out the Mercury pied, which is like now we need to be able to see. So if we start seeing super Mercuries and they're pieds, we're gonna be a little more confused.
Yeah.
So we're getting it into a few other projects like lavender because it really intensifies dark colors. I've had a few people message and be like, I think it looks like Rio, or it looks like Cinder is one of the ones. I don't think it looks like Cinder. Someone thought it looked like Cinder, but I don't think it does. But someone thought Mahogany at one point. So, I mean, if it popped up and it was like it was Mahogany or it was Cinder, like Mercury is going to be called that. It's going to be called Mahogany or Cinder. I don't even think we can call it Mercury because Mike Wilbanks called the Fire Super Cinnamon Mercury. So we might be changing the name. But inside our enclosed facility, it's been called Mercury for the last 15 years.
Okay. I like the name. I mean, if you can keep it, just use it. So,
yeah. I mean, I guess Mike doesn't like it or not, but I don't think enough fire people are being made to be called.
Right. Well, Mike is a good guy, so just say like, hey, look, I'm trying to, rename like my name, like my morph or something like that, which is fine. So that Mercury project, so it came from your pipe project, or it has like related or something like that? How did you guys discover?
I think we imported a bunch of captive hatches back in the day, and animals, and that's where that originated from. And pied just happened to pop in that line.
Oh. Right.
So yeah, it was just captive hatched animal that randomly popped up and just kind of started messing with it. So
yeah. Once we reproduced it, we just kept it. Yeah, okay, come on.
We didn't know this last year when we produced a pied, breeding one of the males back to a different female. So yeah,
which is weird because it's about 5 generations down from dad, and the head pied's still there. So, yeah, it's weird.
Right. Yeah, and then this is also another thing that I like to kind of like like to ask your perspective that like just like the project that you guys working on right now, like just that alloy and then the Mercury, right? It takes you guys years to figure out how it works before you guys kind of like go to the market and say like, hey guys, we have this, because I've seen like so many people, they get this so-called import, quote unquote import from Petco, right? And they breed it to pastels, and then they go out to the market like, hey, this is my new things. I want it for like 5,000. What do you guys think about that part alone? Yeah.
I mean, I think it's important for us to keep projects, and unfortunately, we've had a couple projects that popped up in our collection, and then we sold them.
Yeah.
Redhead was actually one of those projects that originated in our collection.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we sold that male back a long time ago, and that was a mistake on our part. And we still have the original female, which is a good thing. But yeah, Redhead was one of those that we wished we hadn't let go.
Yeah, I think it's figuring it out before you sell it, figuring out the full potential.
Right.
I was talking about this the other day through Instagram, and just how to do yourself a disservice by selling it too quickly. Especially, I mean, first off, you can just be making a polygenic morph, which isn't actually genetic. You're just reproducing those lines like by producing, and then it could also be a codominant, or actually in biological terms, incomplete dominant mutation. So if you've got to figure that out first, and if you're not, you're sort of doing yourself a disservice. Because think about Red Stripe with Justin Kabolka, like that thing went down in price a ton before he produced the Red Stripe Clown stuff, and it shot back up. And it's trying to figure out each project before you get rid of it. And I think sometimes we see that money right away, but then you sort of possibly ruin the chance of it being a really good project. So
I think Redhead is a perfect example. If we had kept that project, what it could have done, and then released it after seeing what it's capable of doing, it would have been a completely different morph. Which I think that it's ruined now, but I think it could have been dealt with a lot better. Seeing what it could have done before it was released. So
I mean, looking back, just to be honest with you guys, there's no right and wrong, right? I mean, like anybody can do whatever they want, right? But just based on like my experience, it's always good to be patient, right? Just hold back just a little bit, and then like study a little bit more how the gene works or things like that. What the morph or the gene can offer, to like a certain combos or things like that. Because I've noticed that yes, you can sell it like really fast. That's true, and make your money, whatever like that, right? But the more you have the time to work on it, and then the more question that you can like answer, right? Because the more price that you gonna put it out there, the more question that you're gonna get, right? Are they compatible with, like, let's say yellow belly, bell complex, or things like that, so on and so on? The more value that you can get from that, so like I know I have like few that import project that I'm still working on right now. I can sell it like right now, for like, I don't know, like $2,000 or things like that. But I would rather wait until I produce like a really cool stuff, then I release the gene, because I feel like it's beneficial for like me personally, as the breeders, and also people that willing to invest into the project, right? So what do you guys think about that?
I agree with that. I mean, I think it's definitely to get the, because I can think of a few projects off the top of my head that full story of it wasn't there yet. And it took years. I mean, the banana male being a perfect example, not knowing for years that the banana was very sex linked, and that people realize it after they've been on the market for a few years, and it's like, oh wow, like this is something that probably could have been figured out before it got released. For that banana and then coral glow, I think it's just like a curse, right? I mean, think about it. If there's no male maker, I think the price is still go up there, like somewhere in the like $1,000 mark, because the single gene itself is still beautiful, That's probably one of the best thing that like non-combo animals, in my opinion, So
I mean, there's a reason why it dropped from 25,000 to 7,000.
It was like really fast too, right? Because like I still remember seeing like some of them like in Daytona's like 28,000, and the female was like 18,000, right? And then the next show was like half. I was like, what happened here?
I think we paid 22,000 for our original male, and selling them for 7,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
But just the way
Yeah.
it goes.
I mean, well, you still able to get your money back, obviously, but it just hurts sometimes. Like seeing the that labels like, oh, it's like half already. It just hurts sometimes. So
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like in the industry, like I try to
Yeah.
explain to people that are getting in. They're like, "Oh, I really want to do this. I really want to make a lot of money off it." I'm like, no matter whatever price you spend on that snake, you're still going to be making snakes. You're producing something out of, feeding two animals. So you're still going to make another animal out of it, and you're going to make that money no matter what. It's not like
yeah,
you don't get anything from it. So it doesn't matter if it drops.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
$100, you can still sell $100 a piece, and it's going to take a while longer, but it's still $100.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point that you just said that because I mean you still can get your money back, your investment back. It's just gonna take more time.
Yeah.
So it just kind of sucks because for me, I would rather get like in and out like really fast. So if there's like drama and then people trying to cut costs left and right, I don't really care. Like what's going on, so I don't think people really understand like the whole scenario, like how to play the game, yeah, because like most people, especially the new ones, they just only see those price, DM labels, right? Let's say $10,000. So in their mind, they're like, oh my god, if I make like 4 of them, that's like 40,000. But they don't understand like how to take care of them, how to like the whole process. I mean, if it was that easy, everybody gonna be like super rich right now, So
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we would ever have taken a step back and had a different business and had this one be our hobby again if we were still selling snakes for the same amount we bought them for. So
yeah. What do you guys think about the market right now? Like ball python market in general.
I think it's taken a different turn. I think there's a corner on some people, like, some breeders have really gotten a good handle on marketing and really gotten their names out there, and they can keep that valuation up. I think that's one of the problems that we see with like price dropping on the morph market or anything like that is the people that are coming out thinking, oh my gosh, like these guys sell for this much, I can do this, but they don't have the same marketing skills. They haven't been in the market for as long as, anyone else. I mean, even us, we aren't anywhere near what anyone else would be. And you have to build that reputation. I think a lot of people don't do that first, and then they drop the price, and then it sort of scares everyone else. I think it's a little more sticky now, though. I think there's a lot more people in the industry than there was 10 years ago, even. I've seen some market projects get put up recently that hold a little bit better pricing in comparison to years past. We would get into a project. Sometimes it would shoot down very, very quickly because there was people that got into it thinking they were going to make millions and couldn't pull it for that, so they started dropping the price. But I think it's a different market. I think it's a good market. I think there's a lot of pet that are coming out that want to buy a few more animals now.
I think the main word is just it's more stable, I think, than it was before. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think the one thing for us is even though we took a few years off, we still sell our animals out. That's not anything about us. I think that's saying something about the animals because we aren't putting our marketing out there as our name. We're usually just selling them without doing that. Which this year we probably list stuff online again for like 4 years now.
Right.
I think that speaks to itself. Like if the market can sell that well. I don't think it's going to be the days of 10 to 15 $4,000 animals a month, but I think that it's a more stable one that can definitely sell and support animals that are like $1,000, and I think that they can really pull that money in, and I think people see that and go, that's not that much. So
yeah. How do you guys move your animals in general, if you don't mind me asking?
For the last few years, it's just been
wholesale mostly.
Wholesale. We have a few random people that'll contact us wanting certain things, and then.
To be honest, the last 3 or 4 years isn't really what we tend to try to lean towards. We liked when we were doing it as a living to sell like half our animals retail, half wholesale, kind of thing. we've never been the believers of just only wholesaling because we like to interact with people and, tell people about projects and stuff like that. So I think this year will be about 50-50 wholesale, retail.
In the year of a lot of holdbacks.
Yeah.
Right. The reason I was asking about that question is because, like maybe if, some people get the idea on how to sell their animals, because I'm just going to go out of limb right now, right? Because I guarantee you like 80+% people in the hobby do not know how to sell.
Yeah.
I'm going to get rare like by Tuesday, like this week, but they do not know how to do business. They do not know how to sell. So I'm just going to go like, like really kind of blind, right? So that's why like each, like this, like podcast, I always kind of like, asking not the same question, but kind of like the perspective of my guesses, right? Like, how's the market? I always ask like, how's the market? Because some people they do not know what they're doing. They're like, oh my God, it's gonna crash. It's gloomy, doomy, or whatever like that, right? It's not. Just like what you said earlier. With this era of social media, there's like, because before when we look back, let's say like early 2000, right? I call it like there's a gatekeepers, like these big breeders, right? The one kind of like controlling the market for like lack of a better word, right? But right now you can go directly to anybody pretty much, with social media and knowing how to market yourself and things like that, right? And then I don't think the market will even close to like being crashed. I mean, I can be wrong. I mean, I sounds like really biased right now, but I think it's gonna get better and better each year because like from this like YouTube alone or like like Facebook or things like that, we kind of like approach or reach more audiences. Like more people gonna get in, more people gonna breed. Yes, sure, they're gonna say like I'm just gonna get like one ball python. No, I don't think that's gonna be the case. Everybody start with one and end up like 50 or like hundreds of them.
That's just you don't get
Yeah.
We all did it. We all know. We all still buy snakes. They're just on a higher level now at some of us.
Yeah. So it's always good to... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Talking like market crashing is people have been the last 10 years and the market's going to crash and every year after that that's not the case. I think that's kind of just a typical thing that people are going to say forever. Hopefully, I hope that's right, but
I think if the market crashes, that means we're in a recession in general inside the U.S. So, in a recession, that was when we were selling snakes the best, I think. So, I think that unless snakes get illegalized, which we fight for every single day not to have happen. So unless that happens, I don't see the market crashing ever because people will continue to love them and prices change. It's not a crash, though, I would say.
Yeah. Well, there's always gonna be like price adjustment, right? I mean, kind of like going down and up based on the supply and demands, right? Obviously, I mean it happens. It's just the nature of the business itself. So it's common sense. I mean, it's not like the end of the world, So people just kind of like really freaking out about anything, pretty much. But yeah.
I'm hoping that my box TV was still worth $5,000. Function changes and new projects happen. Like I think that's just more of what. Like we just had to understand that after a few years of like the market's a little different. We have to realize that some of the stuff we have to sell has to be wholesale, and it's not going to be the prices that we necessarily desire most. But pet stores and some wholesalers they have more of those contacts than we do because we don't have the time or the energy to deal with 500 people a year. And we can sell some of them wholesale, and some of them can be actually sold to individuals, and that gives us more time, to spend with those bigger projects that, doesn't, all the snakes are still equal to us. Like we care about them each individually the same way. We feed them the same way. They all get cleaned the same way. It's just, we just know we have to sell some wholesale. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. It depends on like what you guys, like, well, everybody wants to accomplish, right? Because like everybody have their own things going on, right? I mean, just like for me, I typically, my ratio is like 70-30, meaning I'm 30 just to like, wholesale, not necessarily wholesale, just, kind of like helping out my breeder friends, because all of these breeder friends, they go to the shows, they need animals sometimes to sell, right? So I'm kind of like distributed, like, some of the, you know, those, babies or all the hatchling that I don't really need for my project. Other than that, I keep them all if I could, you know. So it's always good to have, like, I don't know, I call it like team, like people that I can grow together, because if we help each other out, like to make money or to grow your collection or things like that, it's easier to get to the top, because I still see people, well, not killing each other out, but like bashing each other out, like, oh, this breeder, this on so and so, I mean, you're not gonna get anywhere if your mindset is super negative about everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's definitely like a very good point for that. Like, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
creating contacts. Like, during the past few years, we haven't really produced a ton, and
Mm-hmm.
we just contact our friends and we're like, hey, like, we're gonna sell some stuff. Like, do you have this package? And we trust where it comes from.
Yeah.
But it's just part of it. You just have to have that built up relationships and do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Be
Yeah.
willing. So.
What is next for you guys?
Next,
Yeah. So let's say if I see you guys the next year, right? 3-5 years from now, how do you guys see yourself as the Sloan brothers?
I think we just like to keep our things small and manageable and just focus on the projects that we enjoy.
small.
Yeah, I mean,
It's more like 300 animals.
yeah. Like we don't not get to the point where we had too many snakes that we weren't enjoying them for what they were. Bring it back to a hobby and just do it for fun and be able to buy new snakes each year and
I think focus on projects that we really like. We are invested
Yeah.
in. We like a lot. I think, like a perfect example would be like we bought the banana. And we love the banana, but we bought the banana solely as an investment purpose. And I'd like to see that in the future. Like, okay, what is the only thing that we just really like? Like, I just want to go buy it because I like it. And if we don't sell any babies from it ever, and that's where I've been trying to like communicate that to newer people getting in, like, if you buy a project, if you kept every single baby, would you be happy with it? Like, would you be excited, or you get upset
Right.
if you bought something and you can't sell anything? So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I can be wrong also. But I figured out that based on my experience, that having a bigger collection doesn't mean more money. That you're gonna get more money, because I've sold like almost 2/3 of my collection before, just like what you guys experienced. Like it became like a work before. So I was like, this doesn't make sense at all, because I started as a hobby and I want to keep it as a hobby, because I just didn't feel back then like I was enjoying like the whole process. It became like work, So I sold everything and focused on just like things that I want to, like working on like project wise, right? But it's the funny thing is I make way more money having what I have right now compared to before.
yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
I think to answer your question, like 3 to 5 years from now, I think
Uh-huh.
you'll see us at shows more of like an enjoyment purpose. I went out to Tinley with my wife this year. Justin wasn't going to make it, but I was like, we're just going to go out to Tinley and we're just going to walk around and we're going to hang out and we're just going to enjoy it. We might not. We will likely never been the Tinley show in itself again, just because it's a 16-hour drive or a 5-hour flight to send a ton of animals out to, and to have to make the money back for the booth. Like, as much as it's fun to sit there, I think I'd rather walk around and talk to everybody at the booths.
Yeah.
Buy snakes for a change instead of just sell.
Spending more money than you're making, but I think you'll see shows with our wives and sort of just enjoying it as for fun. I think that's more of where we'll be in when you see projects we produce, it's something that we've focused on and like wanted to make that exact animal. rather than we produced 5 clutches of leucistics this year just to make leucistics. Chances are you're going to see super orange stream yellow belly lavenders because we just want to see what the heck it looks like rather than what everyone else wants it to be. So more of that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes I feel kind of like, well, not worried, but like I see like these like so many like new people, they wanna get to the top like really fast, so they're buying bunch of things, they lease this like data facilities or things like that. They just go all in like really deep without knowing the inside out of the hobby itself. Kind of scary, because I mean, it's kind of like tough love, right? Because every time I talk to them or they ask me like for like advice or things like that, they never listen to, because they feel like, oh, you're just doing that because you don't want me to get to to your levels. It's not about level or like like anything else. I mean, I just want to make sure if they ready to weather the storm, because I mean, the hobby itself is not like just put the money in and then you get it like next year, things like that. I mean, you could have like a bad season like 3 years in a row. So how do you keep up with like the payments or things like that, So I just hope people like learn from the mistake that we've made so far, based on like we've done. You know what I mean? It's easier that way, but some people just don't want to listen. They feel like they know everything, but once they get beat up, then they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. But it's already too late,
Yeah, right.
So.
We've made our fair share of mistakes in this business, trying to do business to get ahead. And, I mean, I think we probably have about 800 animals, and we just were like, okay, this is not anymore. We're selling animals we want left and right, like
To keep it going.
And so we were just like, all right, let's get down, and now we're down to probably a little under 300. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because like I'm a business guy, right? Like my background is always business. So for me, it doesn't make sense to put, let's say, 100,000 in and then you get like 110. It doesn't make sense. I would rather get like put it in 10 and then you make like 80,000. That's my goal.
Right.
So having less animal, like less headache, less like overhead. You don't have to have like 10 staff just working for you to clean the animals. And then this is something that I've learned, like for myself too, because I thought like everybody else, right? Like the more animals, the more money you're gonna make. That's not necessarily true, because like I sold like 2/3 of my collection, but I make like maybe 3 times more than what I like what I used to do before, like hobby wise, which is really weird. So it kind of like like the math kind of like doesn't really make sense, but it just like the way it works for some reason. So it's not really about the quantity. It's more like about the quality, I think. So.
And that used to be our slogan back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Quality over quantity, and then we sort of got that and started doing quantity, and we were like, oh shoot, like back to quality, let's do that. So I think it's definitely focused on quality, because we've known collections in the past that are 3,000 animals strong, and they're like, oh, I make like 100 clutches a year, and I'm like, and we have 300.
Right.
It just takes away from the whole thing, and if you don't enjoy it, it doesn't give back. And I think that's what we just are trying to preach to everybody: enjoy what you're doing, because if you start to make it not enjoyable, it's not going to give you what you want out of it.
Yeah, and then knowing what to focus on is also really crucial, in my opinion, because like me personally, I like to work with something that not many people have or don't have, and also I like to deal with like mostly high-end project. I just feel like the potential buyers have more knowledge. So I don't have to kind of like like hold their hands, and then I don't have to deal with like 10,000 questions, and it's like the money itself is much better, because me personally, I would rather sell like one $10,000 worth of animals than $100 animals for like 100 of them. So you have to deal with like 100 people technically instead of just one. So
I agree with that one.
Yeah. What is your advice for new people that just want to start? So let's say they, call you guys like, Nick, Justin, I'm new with this. What is the best way to, start? Like how should I structure my, collection? What do you guys say to them?
I would say the most important thing
Uh-huh.
would be build your name, build a reputation.
Yeah.
That was the thing we kind of, not that we struggled with, it was hard at first for us because we were young. And,
Yeah.
it helped us, but also didn't help us. And I think looking back at it now, if we had focused more on our name and building a reputation, that would have been more important than the actual breeding side of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, not that the breeding side of it's not important, but building a name, just like, a name that you can trust, I think is important.
Yeah.
I think, like you were saying, focus on projects.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
For us, hypo's really been one of our things that for years we've always worked with hypo, and
We've always
Yeah.
been known as, like, we've got
Yeah.
really cool animals, something you can specialize in, I think.
yeah, and enjoy it. Don't do it because you can specialize in sunset or scaleless, but if you're doing it
Mhm.
just because you think it's going to make you the money,
Right.
I think that's that's the bad part. So I think focusing on
Mhm.
something because you enjoy it,
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
is where I focus. I'm like, hey, what project do you like? And they're like, oh, I really like this one. I'm like, all right, great. And they're like,
Yeah.
it's put us up so much money. And I'm like, so, for now, you're starting out, try that. Have
Right.
that be your thing that people know you for. Like, if you say you want to just get into albinos right now, and do it that way. Like Morton Wright, you think of albino, you think of Morton Wright. Like that's all he
Yeah.
did, and that's what he focused on.
Mhm.
And you think of a few different breeders on like what their project was, and I think that's where I've tried to don't try to get every project. That's not going to work. Like we all want every
Right.
project. Trust me, I
Right.
want every single project. But
Yeah.
if you want of every animal, it's not going to do any good. It's going to make a bunch of snakes that don't really look like anything.
Yeah. Do they need a lot of money to start?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously you need a
Mhm.
decent amount of money to get into some cooler projects, but I think like Nick was saying, if you just choose a project that you like, because obviously hypo is not an expensive project.
Hmm.
And I think probably back when we first started, half our collection was hypo?
Yeah.
And obviously combos and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't think much. I mean, obviously it helps to have more, but I don't think you need much.
I mean, unless you're unless your one sole project you want to do is like the monsoon at the moment,
Yeah.
then you need a lot of money to start on that one. But I think if you're wanting to start out as someone that just breeds snakes and enjoys them, I guess it depends on the relative term of what a lot of money is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some people, saying, "Hey, $10,000 to dump isn't a lot," but then some people are like $200 is a lot. So I think
Yeah.
wherever your price point is, you can start there. As long as you're not scrimping and scraping for money to feed the snakes and yourselves, I think you can start. Best start when you actually have money to be able to do it. Is really where it's at. As long as you're paying your bills and you have a little excess money and you want to, hey, I want 10 snakes and I want to spend $1,000, then that's a fine way to start. But don't expect to make millions. But you can
Yeah.
definitely start there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I always get like the same question for the last few years, like the same thing, like over and over again. So there's usually like two type of persons, right? They only have like limited amount of money, and then the other one is they have, well, not like unlimited, but they have like way more money, and then they always ask the same question, like, how do I start? So I typically, the scenario is pretty much the same, like the way I tell them, like, start small. Like, I mean, you don't need to spend like high-end animals. Start with like something simple, right? Like, heck, like pastels and maybe, I don't know, yellow bellies, right? Female and male, that's it, right? Don't do anything else. But in the meantime, while you wait until they grow to like a breeder size, this is the best part to learn about the hobby, like how the market works, and then go to the shows and then networking. Start networking, being nice. Don't be like a jackass and like pretend like you know everything, right? Be nice, build your kind of like your network, right? And then because once the process start, right, the whole cycles, like the feedings, everything, the cleaning, it never stops. So if you feel like, so let's say after like a year, right? And then if you feel this is what you really want to do, then you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So and then, but like the other scenario, if for some reason this is not for you, you just don't want to clean, like snakes every single day, or you don't want to feed, live your snakes, then after years, then you can just get out because you don't have, well, you didn't put like a lot of money into it. I mean, just like cheap animals, just either you sell it or just donate it or do whatever, and then you get out. So there's no hurt feelings, right? So just get out, nothing. And then I think probably that's the best way to approach it, instead of trying to spend a lot of monies and then kind of like jumped in and then just to make themselves looks like professionals, because I know a lot of people getting this like a new rec system, even though they feel like all the stuff with like normals just to look great from the outside. But I don't think that's a good move. Just start small. I mean, everybody start from like nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what I told them like every single time.
Throughout the years, I mean, this is our 16th year breeding ball pythons, but
Wow,
throughout the years,
yeah.
we've seen a lot of people get in, spend a lot of money, and get out within
Yeah.
like 2 years. Because it's
Yes.
just it's a lot of work if it's not something you're
It is.
passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, they want to get everything, and it's like, no, just focus on a few things.
Yeah.
I mean, if a lot of money in relative terms, you spend not
Mhm.
a lot of money. If you're someone that's like, 100 grand isn't a lot of money to me. Okay, well, let's spend 10 grand and you'll see if you like it or not. And then I think that's
Yeah.
sort of, we would actually have people ask us, like, I want to spend this much this year. What should I buy from you? And we're like, I'm not selling you that. Like, we don't buy that because you need to try this out first. Like, we want, like, never produced a snake wants a $50,000 banana. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So it's interesting. I mean, that's where we try to be. Is it's not all
Yeah.
about to make sure like these animals are also going to go somewhere that they're going to live for a while. Not just go to somebody that's like, I don't know if I know how to do this.
And end up killing them or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's always this argument whether you should get a male first or like female first, right? So that's why it's easier sometimes to talk with like new people because they kind of like like clean slate, right? They they do not know anything. So I typically just tell them like just buy like one pair, male and females. I know that's a bad move. The reason I always tell them that is because they're gonna learn if the male gonna take like get to the data breeding size much faster and the female's gonna take much longer. If you experience like the whole process yourself, it's easier to navigate, because if you just listen to people like just buy female, like I have like so many breeders email me like, hey, I have this 15 female ready to go, but I don't have the male. Well, you just screwed up the whole breeding season, right? You have to grow the male again and then go like the whole things. But because every yeah yeah because of every people have different scenario. So sometimes the way I look at it is like like not one advice fits everybody. You know what I mean? So that's why sometimes when I talk to like new people, it's easier to just buy male and female. So experience it yourself because now oh, okay, male takes much faster than like female. So they understand. So let's say if they grow their collection like much bigger, they know like which one they need for for their breeding season. So it's not necessarily just buy the females all the time.
Right.
So yeah.
I think that's some good advice for new
Yeah,
I think-
yeah, because yeah, most breeders that I know, like most of these sellers, right? Their advice seems to be like always changing. So if they have more females, they're gonna say like, oh, just buy females, you're gonna need it, blah blah blah, right? And if they have more males, they're gonna say like, oh, you need males, because he can breed like 10 of your females. It's always changed every single shows. I know all of them. So I feel bad sometimes, for like the newbies, right? They just like, wait a minute. Last year he said, I need to buy males, but like this year's, and they want me to buy female. So which one which? So they get really confused.
Yeah,
So that's why it's always good to just experience yourself, so you learn it like hands-on. So not by listening to the like other people's or go to the forums, blah blah blah, right? I think that's
Right.
probably the best move to go. Yeah.
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 I think get to know the industry, get to know that kind of stuff. I mean, that's where our advice
Yeah.
is sort of with that kind of stuff is just enjoy it. Like if you come to our table and we've got 50 animals for sale, we're likely going to talk to you about each one, but we're going to make sure that it's going to work for you. Like if someone comes
Yeah.
up to me and is like, I don't have any clown stuff, but I really like this clown female you have. It's like, well, it's
We're not going to try to sell you an animal.
the value that the value doesn't going to fit into your project. That doesn't, like, I just don't want to do that for people. So that's where we've changed a lot. Like it's not just about like, hey, we just got to sell this snake, this snake, this snake. It's like, oh, we want to know what you're
Yeah.
doing. We want to get to know the people that are buying the snakes. So
Yeah.
actually, a relationship.
Yeah.
Like sort of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good things that you just said. Relationship, right? Because I think the real, for the relationship itself is more valuable than the money. Because one thing that I've learned in this hobby alone, right? People that you take care of, like like tell them like this is how you do it, right? And then once they successful, let's say if they have their first clutch or things like that, they will be super loyal to you. I'm telling you, like I have like so many customers, like let's say if they're looking for something that are available on more market, right? But they don't want to get it from other breeders. They want to get it like from you. That's another thing that it takes time to build up that some sort of that relationship. So
Yeah, and I think definitely like relationships are super important, and especially right
Mm-hmm.
now. I think, especially for us right now after this whole Ben Rennick debacle, like
Yeah.
I mean we were really good friends with him and stuff, and I think it's
I know.
relationships over
Yeah.
business. I think it's
Yeah.
making sure that we realize that this is a hobby. It has started as a hobby for everyone. For most people
Of
in
course.
this, to keep with that, to realize that there are people still. You're going to have to be friends with people. You're going to have to be, in relationships with people, and it's not quite as easy as they walk up and buy a snake and leave. Because chances are,
Yeah.
send you a picture of a clutch that they got from that female. You hopefully you remember who they are, and
Yeah.
that's where we want to try to be more of, is like small and personalized enough that like someone says, hey, I bought this female from you at a show in 2011.
Remember who it
Like we
was.
want to know
Yeah.
who it was.
Yeah, yeah. Last question before we wrap this up. How do you guys deal with haters?
I
The
think
world.
Yeah.
the situation that comes to mind is when we first started, the big drama for us was the Champagne Project.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
we had a lot of haters back in the day.
Just knowing what your thing is,
Yeah.
is you, and realizing that not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah. Just being okay with people not liking you and not letting that affect the way that you do business.
And not everyone's going to have the most pure of intentions with you either. Like I think that's one of the things that we've had to learn too, is like sometimes there are wolves in sheep clothing, and that's they're going to be your haters that are your friends, and it's going to hurt and it's going to be terrible. But I think you just have to realize, like, if you just keep doing it for you, like it'll all work out and it'll be good. There's been a few of them through the years, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, yeah. It's just the nature of the hobby, right? I really agree about the thing that you just said about that, like wolf in the sheep clothes. There's like many of them right now. So, yeah. I mean, me personally, this might sound really weird, but I love haters. The more they, go against me, the more kind of like, pump I am. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
they just think about you, or they're intimidated by you.
Jealous,
Which is not to be like a pompous, like, oh, I've got so many haters, like, they love us. Of just, like, yeah, half the time I don't really think about other people in any regard other than, like, I do like this person or that. So, like, we're not posting anything online like, oh, this person sucks, because we just don't think about you beyond that. Like, if we don't like you, so we're just not going to interact. Like, that's just it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to affect you anymore. I think that
Yeah.
It's a hater.
Yeah,
They're
because
like, in this. They're probably thinking about it.
yeah, that's a really good point because like it's how hard it is to be a haters. Like you have to think about that person first, right? And then you have to find the the worst word that you can kind of like hurting them.
Yeah.
All of these
Yeah.
bad comments. I mean, it's a lot of work. So I'm really happy that they keep doing their like work as a haters. It keeps me going.
It does. I mean,
Like I love it. Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
they're there. They're there.
They'll never go
That's
away.
gonna
Yeah.
be the advice. Is
Yeah.
they're there. It's
Yeah.
not hating everything single thing. It's just if
Yeah.
it's Nate, you're posting these things and they tend to come behind you.
Yeah, and then I don't mind haters at all. But one thing that kind of like hurtful is just like what you said. Those wolves in the sheep clothes, right? Because I know like some of them, so they're like really nice. Like in front of you, oh Chris, this and that, whatever. And then once you leave, they just backstab you like crazy. So it happens, and there's like so many of them right now. So yeah, gotta be careful.
The more people in the industry, the more it's going to happen, I think. And I think that's the unfortunate part. But
Mhm.
it's kind of doing you. And I think that's where we've sort of we've come back to it's about us and our snakes and what we want to do and what we want to enjoy. And, when there's the people out there, like, we know the certain people that we can talk to, and we know that they're going to be those wolves in sheep clothing, and we know the actual sheep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the advice for the new people coming in, I would say.
Yeah. When is your next shows? Are you gonna, start going to the show again, or maybe
Actually, yeah,
no?
yeah,
Yes.
we'll
Yeah?
be at a show here in Colorado at the end of February.
Oh, Colorado. Okay.
And then, bending wise, I don't really know. We don't really have a schedule for it. We haven't really talked about it much. Like I said, I don't think we'll bend Tinley Park ever again.
Yeah.
Not it's a bad show. It's just
Just like too much work.
we enjoy it. It's we want to enjoy it.
Mhm.
We want to walk around and talk to the people, and we'd rather do that. So I think we'll probably come out to California.
Yeah. Thought about
soon
maybe
enough.
Daytona or something.
Maybe going out to Daytona this year. We're bending end of February at our local Reptilian Nation show.
We won't have much though, so don't be excited if we're going.
Yeah. If anyone's going.
Yeah. Daytona is kind of different nowadays, right? Because compared with like 8 years ago, it's completely different now. It's like kind of slow. Yeah, I think I can be wrong, but
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I think shows became, we have to sell this, we have to sell this, we have to sell this, and that's where we want it to be. Let's just do a show for fun occasionally. Like if we feel like doing it, we can do it. But
yeah.
like going out to Tinley, we're spending $1,000 the entire travel, booth, everything. Actually more, probably $2,000-$3,000. Like as a hobby standpoint, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But as
Yeah.
sell stuff, sure. But we'll be there. We'll put a T-shirt on and walk around. I think we'll be at a lot more shows coming up.
Yep.
But more as a vacation fun.
Yeah. So you guys going to that Tinley, the one in fall, the one in October, like for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. We will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walking
Yeah.
around.
I'm probably gonna miss this one, the one in March, because I'm like really way too busy. But I'm probably gonna make it the one in fall. So if nothing else, I'll see you guys there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think we're thinking about possibly coming out to the Super Show in August too.
Oh, okay. The one in Pomona.
Yeah.
Those are our favorite shows, I think, California shows.
Oh yeah.
California were always our favorite.
Yeah.
Arlington was always hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people gonna hate me because I'm gonna say this. To be honest with you guys, I go to Arlington just to see Tracy Barker
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's really hard to catch that that lady. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, you can't
other
talk
than
to her.
that,
You can't talk to her besides in person, so you got to grab her and pin her down and talk to her. No, that's mostly us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Arlington's fun to go to. Most of the shows are just to see the people that,
You don't see very often.
and
yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
much for messaging. the people.
yeah.
So,
Do you guys have anything for sale right now?
I think
Animal wise, no.
we have one girl. We have an orange dream butter, yellow belly, het lavender female for sale, just because we probably
Okay.
snake. But currently, no. No. Our
No?
first
Okay.
flight,
A week.
in 4 days.
In a week? Okay.
Our third, so, and then they first
So just
flight.
check anything on like Morph Market, or like what is the best way to reach you guys if anyone interested in buying animals? Huh?
The individual
Just
pictures
website.
and stuff, more
Yeah.
market.
Or just,
Okay.
email us or message us or
Just email you guys. Okay.
Emails all over the place right now.
yeah, that's true. Don't email us.
Don't
message
email
us.
us. Text us or Instagram. I don't think you can Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
having a
So just mostly just okay. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to say before we close this down?
No, just thanks for having us on the show. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
fun. We haven't had a podcast
Thank you for
or
your time.
interview or anything like that for a while, so it's fun to get
Yeah.
back into.
Yeah, this is the idea came from because I was looking at like I have this like a black book, right, and then bunch of morph. I'm like super geek, so yeah. So I was right, and then I saw that alloy because I made like a note like back in like years and years ago. So I was like, where is this Sloan brother? So I look you guys up, and then from Insta, so I was like, let me see if I can talk to it, this guy, because it's been like a while. So I thought you guys, kind of like get off from the hobby and then just like, have no interest in ball python anymore, or, So I was like, yeah,
We're just
that's the
hanging
idea came from.
behind the scenes.
We love reptiles still. Like that's the thing. That's why we stepped back. No, we'll send you pictures of updates on the alloy stuff. You can see them first, and so you're definitely interested in that. I'd rather you see them hands on first, and we see if this yellow gene's the same thing, and then we're gonna Tim and we're all gonna make a decision on a name. The yellow gene,
Right.
little alloy sounds cool, but if yellow gene's what he wants, then we might stick with that.
Yeah. Keep me posted on that alloy project and also that Mercury. So I would love to see like more combos from it. So yeah.
We'll see a few this year.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Justin, Nick, thank you so much, man, for doing this, and then I'll catch you, next Pomona or next Tinley. All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, you guys. All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.